The war room of the Galactic Council was filled with fear. Ambassador Thelnari looked at the holographic display showing red markers spreading across their territory like a disease. The Vareth Collective had destroyed another 3 colony worlds in just 2 days. The Council's forces were losing badly. "We have no choice left," Thelnari said, his voice shaking. "We must contact them." The other Council members went silent. Everyone knew who them meant. Earth, the quarantined death world, the forbidden planet. "That's madness," another ambassador said. "The old records warn us. Humans are dangerous. They come from a world that kills everything. Their planet has storms that destroy cities, animals that hunt in packs, and diseases that should not exist." Thelnari touched the display, zooming in on Earth's location. "And yet they survived all of it. They became the apex predators of a Class 12 death world. If anyone can stop the Vareth, it's them." The vote was close, but fear won over caution. They sent the distress signal toward the Sol system. Captain Daywan was drinking coffee on the bridge of the exploration vessel Han River when the signal arrived. He was a tall man with calm eyes and steady hands. For 10 years he had served as Earth's lead first contact officer, though they had never actually contacted anyone. Humanity had only recently developed faster-than-light travel, and they had been alone in space until now. "Captain, I'm picking up something strange," the communications officer said. "It's definitely artificial. Mathematical patterns, repeating sequences. Sir, I think this is it." "First contact." Daywan set down his coffee cup carefully. His heart was racing, but his face stayed calm. "Record everything. Get me a translation program running, and get me Admiral Haywan on secure channel." The message took 6 hours to decode. When Daywan finally read it, he had to read it twice to believe it. It was a distress call. Someone out there was asking Earth for help. Admiral Haywan looked younger than her 50 years. She had been a fighter pilot before becoming the commander of Earth's Deep Space Defense Initiative. When Daywan's message reached her at Luna Station, she called an emergency meeting with the United Earth Command. "They're asking for military assistance against something called the Vareth Collective," she explained to the assembled officers. "According to their message, they've lost 30% of their territory in 6 months. It could be a trap," one general said. "Or it could be our chance to make allies before we're noticed," another replied. "We've been dreading first contact being with hostiles. Here's someone who needs us." Dr. Yu Jin, Earth's leading xenobiologist, spoke up. She was a small woman with sharp eyes and an impressive collection of degrees. "The message contains biological data about themselves. They're testing if we can understand it. And there's something else. Their gravity is 0.38 standard. Their atmosphere is mostly nitrogen with low oxygen. By their standards, Earth is hell." "What do you recommend?" Haywan asked. Yujin smiled slightly. "I recommend we help them, and I recommend we be very careful about what we tell them about ourselves. They might be more afraid of us than the Vareth." The response was sent. Earth would provide assistance. When the Galactic Council received Earth's reply, there was celebration. It lasted exactly 4 minutes until the humans sent their second message. It contained their arrival timeline and force composition. Thelnari stared at the numbers. "This can't be correct. They're sending 847 warships. We have 600 ships total in our entire fleet. How can one planet have more ships than our entire civilization?" "Perhaps it's a translation error," someone suggested weakly. "And these support numbers," another ambassador said. 12 carrier groups, thousands of support craft. This isn't a rescue force. This is an invasion fleet." "But they said they're coming to help," Thelnari protested. A military advisor leaned forward. "Ambassador, we asked a death world for help, a planet where survival required them to become something that scares us. Maybe this is what help looks like to them." "How long until they arrive?" "They say 5 days." The room went quiet again. In galactic terms, mobilizing a fleet of that size should take months, maybe years. Humans were doing it in less than a week. "What have we done?" someone whispered. Captain Daewon stood on the observation deck of Han River, watching the fleet assemble around Luna Station. He had seen military exercises before, but never anything like this. Earth was taking this seriously. The largest ships were the carriers, massive vessels that held hundreds of fighter craft each. Around them moved destroyers, cruisers, and frigates. There were supply ships, medical vessels, and troop transports. Every ship bore the blue and green colors of United Earth. "Impressive, isn't it?" a voice said behind him. Daewon turned to see Admiral Haewon. She had come to inspect the Han River, which would serve as the command ship for first contact protocols. "I didn't expect this much force," Daewon admitted. "Neither did I, honestly," Haewon said. "But Command decided that if we're introducing ourselves to the galaxy, we should do it properly, show strength, but offer friendship. What if they're more scared of us than grateful?" Haewon looked out at the fleet. "Then we'll have to prove we're worth trusting. One action at a time." Dr. Yujin joined them, carrying a datapad. "I've been analyzing the biological data they sent. The Galactic Council species are all from low-gravity, low-oxygen worlds. They're physically fragile compared to us. Their fastest military response time on record is 3 weeks for mobilization. And we're doing it in 5 days, Daewon said. "Exactly. Captain, when we meet them, we need to be very careful. Our normal behavior might seem aggressive to them. Our strength might seem like a threat. Even our food might horrify them." "Our food?" Haewon asked. Yujin nodded. "Most advanced species in the galaxy are herbivores. They stopped eating meat millions of years ago. We still hunt. We still eat other living things. To them, that makes us predators." Daewon thought about that. Humanity had worked so hard to reach the stars, to find others like them, and now they might be seen as monsters. "Then we'll have to show them that predators can also be protectors," he said finally. The fleet finished assembling on the 4th day, 847 warships, ready to jump to another star system, ready to meet alien life for the first time, ready to fight an enemy they had never seen. As the countdown began for the jump, Daewon sat in his captain's chair and thought about the message they were about to send to the galaxy. Earth had been asked for help, and Earth was answering. Not with just a ship or two, but with an armada. He hoped the Galactic Council understood what they had asked for, and he hoped the Vareth Collective was ready to meet humanity. The stars shifted, and the fleet jumped into the unknown. Commander Kyung-ho watched the final supply ships dock at Luna Station. He was responsible for making sure every ship in the fleet had everything it needed: food, ammunition, medical supplies, spare parts. It was a massive job, but Kyung-ho loved complex problems. "Sir, we're ahead of schedule," his assistant reported. "All ships will be fully supplied in 6 hours." Kyung-ho nodded. 6 hours early. Good. He believed in efficiency. What he didn't know was that 6 hours early meant nothing to the aliens waiting for them. To the Galactic Council, the fact that humans could supply an entire armada in less than a week was terrifying. At the edge of the Sol system, 3 small alien ships waited nervously. They were the Council's diplomatic vessel and 2 escorts. Ambassador Thelnari had insisted on meeting the humans before they reached Council space. When the human fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel, the alien crews panicked. "Sensors must be malfunctioning," the pilot of the diplomatic ship said. "It's showing hundreds of vessels." "Sensors are correct," Thelnari said quietly, staring at the display. The human fleet was even larger than reported, and every ship had weapons. Lots of weapons. Captain Daewon's voice came over the communication channel, translated by their computers. "This is Captain Daewon of the exploration vessel Han River, representing United Earth. Ambassador Thelnari, we're honored to meet you." Dr. Yujin will handle first contact protocols. Dr. Yujin appeared on their screens. She wore a simple uniform and smiled warmly. To the aliens, her teeth looked like predator fangs. "Greetings, Ambassador," Yujin said. "We understand you'd like to meet before we proceed to council space. We're happy to accommodate. Would you like to come aboard Han River, or would you prefer we send a shuttle to you?" Thelnari had to think carefully. Entering a human ship meant trusting them, but asking them to come to his ship might seem insulting. "We will come to you if that's acceptable." "Of course. We'll send coordinates for our docking bay." When Thelnari and his team entered the human ship, they immediately noticed the gravity. It pulled at them strongly, making every step difficult. The air felt thick and strange. And everything was so bright. Yujin met them at the airlock with 2 assistants. She moved easily in the heavy gravity. "Welcome aboard. I apologize for the gravity. This is standard for us. Would you like support equipment?" "No, thank you," Thelnari said, though he was already tired. "We can manage." They were led to a conference room. On the way, they passed human crew members. Everyone looked strong, with dense muscle and thick bones. They moved with confidence and power. One crew member was casually carrying a container that looked extremely heavy. In the conference room, refreshments waited on the table. Thelnari noticed they were all plant-based. Yujin had done her research. "Thank you for being thoughtful about the food," Thelnari said. Yujin smiled. "We studied your biological data. We know our typical diet might be disturbing to you. Humans are omnivores. We eat both plants and meat." One of Thelnari's assistants made a small sound of distress. Eating meat, eating other creatures. The humans were predators. "Don't worry," Yujin said gently. "We understand this makes us different. But being a predator species doesn't make us cruel. It makes us protective. We evolved to hunt, yes, but also to defend our pack. And now we consider you part of our pack." "Pack?" Thelnari asked. "Our group, our allies, our friends," Yujin explained. "Humans are social creatures. We form strong bonds. When someone asks us for help, we help. It's that simple." Admiral HFY entered the room. Even though she was smaller than some of her crew, she had an air of command that filled the space. "Ambassador Thelnari, I'm Admiral HFY, Fleet Commander. I wanted to meet you personally." Thelnari stood, struggling slightly with the gravity. "Admiral, your fleet is very impressive, very large." HFY looked confused for a moment. This is a standard expeditionary force. We brought enough to handle the situation, but not our full military capacity." "Not your full capacity?" Thelnari couldn't hide his shock. "How many ships does Earth have?" "That's classified information," HFY said politely. "But I can tell you that we take defense seriously. Earth learned long ago that being unprepared means being dead. Your world must be very dangerous." "You have no idea," Yujin said. "Earth has weather that can level cities. We have volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, tsunamis. We have predatory animals that hunt in packs. We have diseases and parasites. And we have each other. Humans spent thousands of years fighting wars against other humans. We learned to be very good at warfare because we had to be." Thelnari felt cold despite the warm room. "And now you've stopped fighting each other?" "Mostly," HFY said. "We unified when we reached the stars. We decided that out here we're all humans first. Earth taught us to survive. The stars taught us to cooperate." Captain Tae-sung joined the meeting late. He was the commander of the carrier Baekdu, one of the largest ships in the fleet. He was a broad-shouldered man with kind eyes and a firm handshake that made Thelnari's hand hurt. "Sorry I'm late," Tae-sung said. "We were running fighter drills." "Fighter drills?" Thelnari asked. "Our pilots need to stay sharp. Lieutenant Yunji and her squadron were practicing attack formations." On cue, the room's view screen showed the outside space. Dozens of small, fast ships were performing complex maneuvers. They moved in perfect coordination, splitting apart and reforming in patterns that looked like hunting predators. "How old are your fighter pilots?" one of Thelnari's assistants asked. "Yunji is 24, Taesung said proudly. "One of our best." "You send children to war?" The humans looked at each other, confused. 24 is an adult, Haewon said. "Our pilots train for years before they're combat ready." "Your people reach full size at 24? Thelnari asked. In his species, full maturity took 50 years. "No, we're full-grown around 18, Yujin explained. "Humans mature quickly, another adaptation from Earth. On a dangerous world, species that mature slowly die out." Thelnari was beginning to understand. Everything about humans was shaped by their terrible world. They grew fast, fought well, bonded strongly, and never gave up. They were survivors. "Tell me about the Vareth Collective," Haewon said, changing the subject. "We need to know what we're facing." Thelnari brought up holographic displays showing Vareth ships and tactics. They're a conquering species. They attack, overwhelm with numbers, and take territory. Their technology is good, but not exceptional. Their strength is their willingness to accept losses. They don't seem to care how many ships they lose. "Attrition warfare," Kyung-ho said, having joined the meeting. "They wear you down over time." "Exactly. We can win individual battles, but they have more ships. Eventually they'll win." "Not anymore," Haewon said firmly. "Now they have to face Earth. And humans don't do attrition warfare. We do decisive warfare. We hit hard, we hit fast, and we make sure the enemy can't recover." "But won't you take heavy losses?" Haewon smiled. And Thelnari saw the predator in her. "Ambassador, we haven't told you the most important thing about humans. We don't leave our people behind. We protect our own. And we've decided that includes you now. The Vareth will learn what it means to threaten Earth's allies." Later, as Thelnari and his team prepared to return to their ship, Yujin walked with them. "I know we're frightening to you," she said quietly. "We're strong, we're aggressive, and we come from a nightmare world. But please believe me when I say that we're here to help. Humans can be terrifying enemies, but we're loyal friends." "I believe you," Thelnari said. "But I wonder if the Vareth will believe it before it's too late." "That's their problem," Yujin said. As the alien diplomatic ship left, heading back to Council space with news of their strange new allies, the human fleet prepared for war. They checked weapons, ran simulations, and briefed on enemy tactics. In her fighter, Lieutenant Yunji talked with her squadron over the comm. "So we're really doing this? Fighting aliens?" "Looks like it," her wingman replied. "Cool," Yunji said, grinning. "Let's show them what humans can do." The fleet moved forward, toward their first battle among the stars. The human fleet traveled through the empty space between stars. Inside the engine room of the carrier Baek-du, Engineer Sung-ho monitored the exotic matter drives that pushed them faster than light. He was a quiet man who preferred machines to people, but today he had visitors. 3 Galactic Council scientists had asked to observe human technology. They watched in amazement as Sung-ho made adjustments to the drive system. "You understand how this works?" one alien asked. "Of course," Sung-ho said. "We built it. Took us 40 years to figure out faster-than-light travel, but we got there. Without ancient technology? Without finding old ruins?" Sung-ho looked up from his work. "What ancient technology? We did it ourselves. Math, physics, lots of failed experiments. 312 people died in testing accidents before we got it right." The aliens looked horrified. "You sacrificed people?" "They were volunteers," Sung-ho said quietly. "They knew the risks. That's how humans work. We try, we fail, we learn, we try again. Eventually we succeed. Nothing can teach humans better than failure. One alien scientist touched the drive housing carefully. Your species is either very brave or very foolish. Sung-Ho smiled. Usually both. 3 days later, the fleet arrived at Kepler's Edge, a system on the border of Council space. Intelligence reports said a Vareth force was here, attacking a Council colony. Admiral Hei-Wan stood on the bridge of her command ship, studying the tactical display. Sensors, what do we have? Picking up 43 Vareth vessels, various sizes. They're engaged with 6 Council ships. The Council ships are losing. Time to intercept? 12 minutes at current speed. All ships, battle stations. Fighters, prepare to launch. Let's make a good first impression. In her fighter cockpit, Lieutenant Yoon-ji felt her heart racing with excitement and fear. This was real combat, real enemies. She checked her weapon systems for the 3rd time. "Gold Squadron, sound off!" she called to her team. One by one, her pilots responded. 12 fighters, ready for battle. "Remember your training," Yoon-ji said. "Stay in formation, watch your angles, protect your wingman, and let's show these aliens what human pilots can do." The Vareth noticed the human fleet when it was too late. Their war master, a being named Kreltok, saw the sensor readings and laughed. "More prey," he said. "These must be the Deathworlders the Council contacted. Look how few ships they brought, 43 against their 800. They don't understand war." His second-in-command was less confident. "Master, our intelligence is minimal. Perhaps caution would be wise." "Caution is for the weak," Kreltok said. "Send the first wave. 20 ships. That should be enough to scatter them." It was not enough. The Vareth ships moved forward in a standard attack formation. They expected the humans to retreat or form a defensive position. Instead, the human fleet split into attack groups and charged directly at them. "They're attacking?" Kreltok said, confused. "They should be defending." Captain Daewon watched the tactical display with calm focus. "All ships, engage at will. Fighters, you're clear to hunt." The space around Kepler's Edge exploded with weapons fire. The Vareth used energy weapons, colorful beams that looked beautiful and deadly. The humans used those too, but they also used something the galaxy had forgotten about: kinetic weapons. Solid metal projectiles, accelerated to incredible speeds, smashed into Vareth shields. The aliens' defensive systems were designed for energy weapons. They weren't ready for objects with mass hitting them at a significant fraction of light speed. "Their shields aren't stopping our railgun rounds," a gunnery officer reported with excitement. "Target their engines and weapons," Daewon ordered. "Disable, don't destroy unless necessary." Yoon-ji dove her fighter through the battle space, her squadron following in tight formation. They came at a Vareth cruiser from above, firing missiles and energy weapons in a pattern that overwhelmed the ship's point defense systems. "Gold 2, break left! Gold 3, cover him!" Yoon-ji called out, seeing an enemy fighter approaching. The human pilots moved like they were one organism, each knowing where the others would be. The Vareth fighter pilot tried to follow Gold 2's maneuver and couldn't. The human ship pulled forces that should have knocked the pilot unconscious. It spun, rolled, and came around behind the Vareth fighter in seconds. "Splash one enemy fighter," Gold 3 reported as the alien ship exploded. Kreltok watched his first wave get destroyed in 8 minutes. 8 minutes. The humans fought like nothing he'd ever seen. They were aggressive, coordinated, and seemed to ignore danger. "Send everything," he ordered. "All ships, attack!" The main Vareth fleet, 23 ships strong, moved forward. They outnumbered the nearest human group 3-1. They should have won easily. They didn't. Captain Tae-sung commanded the carrier Baekdu and 5 escort ships against 7 Vareth vessels. The aliens tried to surround them, a classic tactic. Tae-sung surprised them by ordering his ships to charge straight into the middle of their formation. "Sir, we'll be surrounded," his tactical officer protested. "Exactly," Tae-sung said. "They won't be able to use heavy weapons without hitting each other." Launch all fighters. Boarding teams, prepare for action. Marines Jae-min and Mi-young stood in the deployment bay with their squad, checking their armor one last time. Both were veterans of Earth's military, trained for the worst situations imaginable. "Think the aliens will put up a good fight?" Mi-young asked. "Hope so," Jae-min said. "Came all this way. Would be disappointing if they just surrendered." Their transport launched from Baekdu, heading for a disabled Vareth destroyer. The plan was simple: board the enemy ship, secure it, and take prisoners for intelligence gathering. The transport attached to the Vareth ship's hull, and cutting torches burned through the outer door. Jae-min was first through the breach, moving fast and low. His armor could withstand small arms fire and had sensors that showed him where enemies were hiding. The Vareth crew tried to stop them. They fired energy weapons that splashed against human armor. They used cover and tactics. But they weren't prepared for humans moving in 1.3 gravity with ease, humans who could take hits that would kill most species, humans who kept coming no matter what. "Deck 1 secure," Jae-min reported. "Moving to Deck 2, encountered 15 hostiles, all neutralized. Non-lethal rounds working as expected." Mi-young's team secured the engine room. "Engineering section clear. No casualties on our side. The aliens seem fragile." She was right. The Vareth were tough by galactic standards, but human soldiers were tougher. Denser bones, stronger muscles, better endurance. Marines trained to fight in Earth's gravity could handle anything lighter easily. In 30 minutes, the destroyer was under human control. Its crew was secured in their own brig, frightened but unharmed. The humans had taken an enemy ship with no friendly casualties. The battle turned decisively when the Council fleet saw the humans fighting. 6 damaged Council ships, barely holding together, watched as the human armada tore through the Vareth forces. "They're incredible," a Council captain said in awe. "They fight like they're dancing. Every ship knows where to be. Every weapon hits its target." "And they're not even trying to destroy ships," another noticed. "They're disabling them, taking prisoners. Why?" "Because that's what good people do," Thelnari said, watching from his ship. "They could kill easily, but they choose to capture instead." The turning point came when a Vareth dreadnought, Kreltok's flagship, managed to land a devastating hit on a Council command ship. The alien vessel began to break apart, its crew screaming for help. Captain Dae-won saw it happening. He had seconds to decide. His ship, Han River, was in position but wasn't a combat vessel. It was designed for exploration, not warfare. But there were people dying. "All crew, brace for impact," Dae-won said calmly. "Helmsman, ramming speed. Target the dreadnought's weapons section." "Sir?" the helmsman asked, not sure he heard correctly. "You heard me? Ram them. All non-essential crew to escape pods. Everyone else, hold on tight." Han River turned and accelerated directly at the Vareth dreadnought. The alien crew saw it coming and couldn't believe it. What kind of insane species uses collision as a weapon? The impact was catastrophic. Han River's reinforced nose section drove deep into the dreadnought's side, tearing through armor and decks. The damage disabled the alien ship completely. It also destroyed the front third of Han River. Dae-won and his bridge crew survived in the hardened command module, designed to separate and protect the crew in emergencies. As they floated in space waiting for rescue, Dae-won checked on his people. "All crew accounted for," his first officer reported. "No casualties." "Good," Dae-won said. "I'd hate to lose anyone on our first battle." Kreltok's dreadnought was crippled. Half his fleet was destroyed or captured. The rest were fleeing. And the humans hadn't even used their full strength yet. Most of their fleet was still in reserve, waiting. "Retreat," Kreltok ordered, his confidence broken. "Send word to High Command. Tell them the Deathworlders are real. Tell them we can't win." The Battle of Kepler's Edge was over in 42 minutes. The humans had won decisively, Losing no ships and no lives, they had disabled or destroyed 38 Vareth vessels and rescued the Council fleet. Admiral Haywan watched rescue ships picking up survivors from both sides. Human medical teams were treating injured aliens, enemy and ally alike. "Ma'am, the Council fleet is requesting permission to thank you personally," her communications officer said. "Tell them they're welcome aboard," Haywan said. "And someone get Captain Day One. I need to yell at him for ramming a dreadnought after I give him a medal." The celebration after the Battle of Kepler's Edge was quiet and professional. Humans didn't celebrate victories while others were still in danger. The Vareth were still out there, and the war wasn't over. Admiral Haywan met with the Galactic Council leaders in a large conference room aboard her command ship. The aliens looked at her with a mixture of awe and fear. "Your performance was remarkable," a council elder said. "We've never seen such efficient combat. You destroyed a force larger than yours with no losses." "We didn't destroy it," Haywan corrected gently. "We defeated it. Most of those Vareth crews are alive. They're prisoners now, being treated according to human war conventions. We don't kill when we can capture. We don't destroy when we can disable." "Why?" another council member asked. "They're your enemies." Haywan thought about how to explain it. "On Earth, we learned something important during our wars. Today's enemy might be tomorrow's ally. If we treat them with honor, they might choose peace. If we treat them with cruelty, they'll fight forever. Also, it's just the right thing to do." Dr. Yujin joined the meeting with her analysis of the captured Vareth. "They're interesting," she said. "Biologically similar to most galactic species, low-gravity world, oxygen-nitrogen breathers, but with higher aggression hormones. They evolved as mid-level predators, but not apex predators like humans." "What does that mean?" Thelnari asked. "It means they're used to fighting, but also used to running away when something stronger appears. Their psychology is built around hierarchy and dominance. They respect strength and fear weakness." "Then they'll respect you," a council member said. "You proved you're stronger." "For now," Haywan said. "But the Vareth are smart. They'll study us and adapt. We need to end this war quickly before they figure out our weaknesses." "Do you have weaknesses?" Thelnari asked quietly. Everyone in the room turned to look at him. Yujin smiled sadly. "Of course we do. Every species has weaknesses. Ours is our greatest strength turned backwards. We form strong emotional bonds. We care deeply about our people. We never leave anyone behind. That makes us loyal, but it also makes us vulnerable. Threaten one human, and you threaten all of us. Use a human as bait, and we'll come for them." "The Vareth will learn this," Haywan said. "And they'll try to use it against us." She was right. 2 weeks later, Lieutenant Yun-ji was on a reconnaissance mission deep in Vareth territory. Her fighter and 2 escorts were gathering intelligence on enemy ship movements when they were ambushed. "Gold leader, we've got 12 enemy fighters coming in fast," her wingman called out. "I see them," Yun-ji said, her hands moving across the controls. "Stay tight. We're getting out of here." But the ambush was well planned. More fighters came from other directions, cutting off their escape. A lucky shot from a Vareth vessel clipped Yunji's fighter, damaging her engines. "I'm hit! Losing power!" she reported. "We're coming back for you," her wingman said. "Negative, negative," Yunji ordered. "Get back to the fleet. Tell them what we saw." "That's an order." She watched her 2 escorts jump to faster-than-light speed, escaping the trap. Then her fighter went dead, and she was captured. The Vareth brought her to a military facility on a captured world. They put her in a small cell with other prisoners, aliens from various council species who had given up hope. The interrogator was a Vareth officer named Throck. He studied the human with curiosity. She was small by his standards, but her muscle density was impressive. She sat calmly, not showing fear. "You're the first human we've captured," Throck said. "You should be terrified." "Should I?" Yunji asked. She was scared, of course, but she had trained for this. Never show weakness. Never give information. Wait for rescue. "We know about your species now. We know you're strong. But strength doesn't matter when you're alone and helpless." Yunji smiled. It wasn't a happy smile. "You made a mistake." "What mistake?" "You captured a human. Now they're going to come for me. And when they do, you're going to learn why you should have just killed me quickly." Throck laughed. "Your fleet won't risk dozens of ships to save one pilot." "You really don't understand humans, do you?" Yunji said. "We don't leave people behind. Not ever. It's not a strategy. It's who we are." When news of Yunji's capture reached the fleet, the reaction was immediate. Admiral Hei Wan called an emergency command meeting. "We're going after her," she said simply. There was no debate, no discussion of cost or risk. "The prison facility is deep in Vareth space," a tactical officer pointed out. "We'll have to fight through their defensive lines." "Then we fight through them," Captain Tae-sung said. "She's one of mine. I'm leading the rescue." "We all are," Dae-won added. He had recovered from the ramming incident and taken command of a new ship. "Every human in this fleet will volunteer." Commander Kyung-ho started planning immediately. "We'll need intelligence on the facility. Defenses, guard patterns, structural weaknesses. Dr. Yujin, can you talk to the prisoners we captured? Find out what they know?" Yujin nodded. "I'll do better than that. I'll offer them a deal. Help us rescue all the prisoners in that facility, including their own people, and we'll grant them amnesty." "Will they accept?" Thelnari asked. He was in the meeting, representing the council. "Would you prefer to be a prisoner in a comfortable human facility or a prisoner in a Vareth one?" Yujin asked. "Point taken." The planning took 2 days. Engineer Sung Ho worked on modifications to make their ships stealthier. Marines Jaemin and Mi Young prepared their teams for a combat rescue in hostile territory. Every human in the fleet wanted to be part of the mission. Meanwhile, in her cell, Yunji kept up the spirits of the other prisoners. She taught them human jokes, told them stories about Earth, and promised them that rescue was coming. "How can you be so sure?" an alien prisoner asked. He was a young council member who had been captured 6 months ago. "Because I know my people," Yunji said. "Humans are stubborn. We don't accept defeat. We don't abandon our own. They'll come for me, and when they do, they'll get all of us out." "But you're just one person. Why would they risk so much?" Yunji thought about her squadron, her friends, her family back on Earth. She thought about what it meant to be human. "Because that's what family does, and humans consider everyone in their pack to be family. Pilot, Marine, civilian, doesn't matter. Once you're part of the pack, we protect you, even if it costs us." The other prisoners started to believe her. There was something in the way she spoke, a certainty that came from deep inside. Maybe these humans really were different. Throck interrogated her again. "Your fleet sent a message. They want to negotiate for your release." "No, they don't," Yunji said. "The message clearly states..." "It's a lie. They're not negotiating. They're coming. That message is just to make you think you have time." Throck studied her face, looking for deception. He found none. "You really believe they'll attack a fortified position for one pilot?" "I don't believe it. I know it." "Then your species is foolish." "Maybe," Yunji agreed. "But we're foolish together, and that makes us strong." Back with the fleet, Admiral Hei Wan reviewed the rescue plan one last time. It was dangerous, possibly suicidal by galactic standards. They would be attacking a heavily defended position with limited intelligence and high risk. "Everyone understand their roles?" she asked the assembled commanders. They all nodded. There was no hesitation, no doubt. One of their own needed help, so they would help. It was that simple. The Vareth think strength is about domination, Haywan said. They think power is about taking what you want. They don't understand that real strength comes from protecting what you love. Real power comes from standing together. We're going to show them what Deathworlders really are. Not monsters, protectors. The human fleet began moving toward Vareth space. They weren't just coming for Unji. They were coming for every prisoner in that facility. They were coming to make a statement. Mess with one human, and you mess with all of humanity. In her cell, Yunji felt the timing was right. She stood and addressed all the prisoners in the surrounding cells. Everyone listen. In the next 24 hours, there's going to be a battle. It's going to be loud and scary. But when you hear the fighting, don't panic. Stay calm. Stay in your cells until human Marines arrive. They'll be in powered armor. They'll look scary, but they're the good guys. They're coming to save all of us. How do you know? Someone asked. Yunji smiled. Because I'm human, and humans don't leave anyone behind. The human fleet arrived at the prison facility exactly when Yunji predicted. They came out of faster-than-light travel in attack formation, weapons hot and ready. The Vareth defenders were caught off guard. They expected negotiation, or maybe a small rescue team. They got an entire battle group. All ships, execute Plan Alpha, Admiral Haiwan ordered. Disable their defenses, protect the facility. We want those prisoners alive. Marine Jamin stood in the deployment bay with his team, checking his equipment one last time. Mi Young was running through the mission plan with her squad. Remember, non-lethal force unless absolutely necessary, Jamin said. Our goal is rescue, not revenge, but if they threaten the prisoners, take them down hard. The transport ships launched under cover of fighter escort. Yunji's squadron, now led by her wingman, flew with extra motivation. They were bringing their leader home. Inside the facility, alarms blared. Yunji heard them and smiled. Told you they were coming, everyone stay calm. The prisoners, who had started to believe her, pressed against their cell doors, listening to the sounds of battle outside. Explosions, weapons fire, and something else. The heavy footsteps of armored soldiers. Jamin's team breached the main entrance, cutting through the doors with plasma torches. Vareth guards opened fire, but human armor absorbed the hits easily. The Marines advanced steadily, using stun weapons to drop enemies without killing them. Sector 1 clear, moving to cell blocks, Jamin reported. Mi Young's team came in through a side entrance, moving fast and precise. They had practiced building clearance thousands of times on Earth. This was just another exercise, except real. Contact! 3 hostiles! Northeast corridor! A Marine called out. Suppressing fire! Move up! Mi Young ordered. The Vareth guards had never experienced suppressive fire. The concept of shooting constantly to keep an enemy's head down while your team advances was foreign to them. They tried to return fire and got hit by stun rounds that dropped them instantly. Yunji heard the fighting getting closer. They're almost here. When the doors open, identify yourselves clearly. Don't make sudden moves. Jamin reached her cell block first. He saw dozens of cells, each containing frightened prisoners. His scanners identified which cell held the human. Lieutenant Yunji, he called out. That's me, Yunji responded. Cell 7. There are 42 other prisoners in this block. Get us all out. Yes, ma'am, Jamin said, smiling under his helmet. Even as a prisoner, she was giving orders. Breaching now. The cell doors opened with a hiss of hydraulics. Yunji stepped out, weak from captivity but standing tall. She looked at Jamin and his team. Took you long enough? She joked. Sorry, ma'am. Traffic was bad, Jamin replied. While the rescue operation continued, the space battle reached its peak. The Vareth had scrambled reinforcements, and now the humans faced a larger force than at Kepler's edge. Sensors showing 68 enemy vessels inbound, reported the tactical officer on Admiral Haywan's command ship. "Launch all fighters. All ships. Defensive formation around the facility." "They're not getting through," Haywan said calmly. Captain Tae-sung commanded the carrier group, coordinating the defense. "Remember, we're buying time for the Marines. Every minute counts." Engineer Sung-ho had modified the fleet's point defense systems, linking them together into a network. When the Vareth missiles came in, they ran into a wall of defensive fire that nothing could penetrate. "Their missiles aren't getting through," a Vareth commander reported in panic. "Switch to direct assault. All ships. Attack pattern Beta," the Vareth fleet leader ordered. But the human fleet had something the Vareth hadn't seen before. Captain Daewon's new ship carried experimental weapons based on Earth's most dangerous natural phenomena. "Fire the graviton pulse," Daewon ordered. The weapon created a small gravity wave that rippled through space, disrupting enemy ship formations and disabling their targeting systems. It didn't destroy ships, but it made them helpless for precious seconds, seconds that human gunners used efficiently. Inside the facility, Mi-young's team reached the maximum security section. These cells held the prisoners the Vareth considered most important, most dangerous. "Breaching the door now," Mi-young said. Inside, they found not enemy combatants, but scientists, doctors, teachers, people who had spoken out against the Vareth occupation. People who were there simply because they believed in freedom. "We're getting you all out," Mi-young promised them. "Come with us, stay close and trust us." An old alien professor looked at her armored form. "You're the humans everyone fears." "Yes, sir. And right now, you should be very happy about that," Mi-young said, helping him to his feet. The evacuation was running smoothly until Throck, the interrogator, decided to make a last stand. He gathered a group of loyal guards and set up a defensive position between the Marines and the exit. "No one leaves!" Throck shouted. "I'll kill the prisoners before I let you take them." Jae-min assessed the situation quickly. They couldn't use heavy weapons without risking the prisoners. They couldn't wait, because Vareth reinforcements were coming. They had to move now. "Mi-young! Flank left. I'll take right. Non-lethal rounds, tight grouping." "On my mark," Jae-min said over the comm. "Ready," Mi-young confirmed. Yoon-ji, who had picked up a stun weapon from a fallen guard, spoke up. "I'm combat-rated, I can help." "You're a prisoner, ma'am. Stay back," Jae-min said. "I was a prisoner. Now I'm a really angry pilot with a weapon. Let me help." Jae-min considered for half a second. "Center corridor, suppressing fire only. Don't take risks." "Sir, yes, sir," Yoon-ji said, grinning despite her exhaustion. The three-pronged assault was fast and brutal. The Marines moved with precision earned from thousands of training hours. Yoon-ji provided covering fire that kept the guards pinned. In less than 30 seconds, Throck's defensive position was overrun. Throck found himself staring up at Jae-min's armored form. "You can't win. Our main fleet is coming. They'll destroy you all." "Maybe," Jae-min said, "but you won't see it. Sweet dreams." He fired a stun round, and Throck collapsed. "All prisoners accounted for," Mi-young reported. "We're moving to extraction." The human transports docked with the facility, loading prisoners as fast as safely possible. Every human worked with urgency, but not panic. They had trained for this. They were good at this. In space, the battle was turning. The Vareth had numbers, but the humans had coordination, better weapons, and absolute determination. Every human ship knew their job and did it perfectly. "Their main fleet is jumping in," sensors reported. 130 vessels. Admiral Haywan didn't even blink. "All ships prepare for Phase 2. It's time to show them what Earth really brought." The reserve fleet, which had been waiting in stealth mode, activated. Another 400 human ships appeared on sensors, fresh and ready for battle. The Vareth fleet leader stared at his display in disbelief. The humans had been fighting with less than half their force. They had reserves, massive reserves. "This is impossible," he whispered. "How can one species have so many ships?" His second officer looked at him with fear in his eyes. "Sir, what are our orders?" For the first time in Vareth military history, a fleet commander gave an order that had never been given before. "Retreat. Full retreat. Send word to High Command. Tell them the humans are not to be engaged. Tell them we surrender." On the flagship, Admiral Haywan received the surrender message. She looked at it, then at her command staff. "Do we accept?" someone asked. "We accept surrender," Haywan said, "but we negotiate the terms. Captain Dewan, you're our diplomatic officer. Open a channel." Dewan appeared on the Vareth fleet leader's screen. He looked calm, almost friendly. It made the alien more nervous than anger would have. "I am Captain Dewan of United Earth. You wish to surrender?" "Yes. We acknowledge your superior force. Name your terms." "Our terms are simple," Dewan said. "All Vareth forces will withdraw from Galactic Council territory. All prisoners will be released. All occupied worlds will be returned. And you will sign a non-aggression treaty with both Earth and the Council." "And if we refuse?" Dewan's smile disappeared. "Then we will continue this war until you have no more ships, no more soldiers, no more ability to threaten anyone. Humanity has fought wars that lasted generations. We're very patient, and we never give up. The choice is yours." The Vareth leader looked at his displays, showing human ships everywhere. Ships that had fought for hours and were still ready for more. A species that came from a death world and brought its savagery with them. Except it wasn't savagery. It was something more terrifying. It was disciplined, controlled, purposeful strength. "We accept your terms," he said quietly. The war ended in that moment. Not with a grand final battle, but with a defeated enemy recognizing they couldn't win. The rescued prisoners were brought to Council space where medical teams waited. Yunji, despite being weak from captivity, insisted on piloting a fighter back to the fleet. Her squadron flew escort, celebrating her return. "Good to have you back, boss," her wingman said. "Good to be back," Yunji replied. "Did I miss anything exciting?" "Just a small battle. Nothing special." 3 days later, the Galactic Council held a ceremony honoring the human fleet. Ambassador Thelnari addressed the assembly with Admiral Haywan and Captain Dewan standing beside him. "The humans came when we asked for help. They fought when we couldn't fight. They rescued not just their own, but all prisoners, enemy and ally alike. They showed us that strength without compassion is worthless, that power without purpose is meaningless." Thelnari turned to the humans. "We offer Earth full membership in the Galactic Council. We offer friendship and alliance. We promise to stand with you as you stood with us." Admiral Haywan stepped forward. "We accept your friendship, but remember what you saw. Humans can be dangerous. We come from a world that tried to kill us every day, and we survived. That made us strong, yes, but it also made us protective. We defend those who can't defend themselves. We fight for those who can't fight. That's not just human military doctrine. That's who we are." She paused, looking at all the assembled aliens. "You asked Earth for help and got a full armada. That should tell you something about humanity. When our friends need us, we don't send the minimum. We send what's needed to get the job done. And now, you're all our friends." Back on Earth, news of first contact and the war spread across the planet. Humanity had reached the stars and made allies. They had fought and won. They had shown the galaxy that Deathworlders could be heroes. Dr. Yujin established cultural exchange programs. Commander Kyung-ho designed joint defense stations. Engineer Sung-ho shared human technology carefully, making sure it would be used for peace. Lieutenant Yunji returned to training duty, teaching new pilots. She told them about her rescue, about how the entire fleet came for her. "That's what it means to be human," she said. "We protect our own. Always." The galaxy had learned an important lesson. Earth had answered a call for help, and the answer came in the form of an armada. Not to conquer, but to protect. Not to destroy, but to defend. And every species now knew, if you needed help, truly needed it, you could call Earth. And they would answer. Because that's what humans did. They asked Earth for help and triggered a full Deathworlder Armada. The galaxy would never be the same.